Last week, we talked about stress and yung effects niya sa health natin. Today, we will be discussing related matters with our guest psychologist, Dr. Randy Dellosa. So does stress really affect our body? Let's watch this!
Stress affects the body and yung mga existing na physical problems na natin can get aggravated by stress, and stress can also create the physical problems. Yeah. These are what we call psychosomatic problems kasi it affects the body and the mind. Okay? And these are very common problems like for example hypertension. If we have too much stress, tataas yung blood pressure natin. Di ba? And dahil mataas ang blood pressure natin, we become more irritable, which affects our work relationships and work output. Hyperacidity is also a psychosomatic problem, which means it's due to stress rin. Headaches, migraine, even diabetes, even sexual dysfunction. You know, when people are very tired, kung minsan the libido decreases, or to cope, the libido increases, But increased libido also adds to the stress. So, the body and the mind reacts to emotions which is affected by the stress.
Madalas nating naririnig ang salitang stress, especially in the workplace. But did you know that there are people na hindi nila alam na stress na pala sila?
There are some people who do not know that they're stressed. So it's important to know yung mga signs and symptoms ng stress. Diba? And the stress I'm referring to is yung bad stress. Okay. Number one is yung changes in sleep pattern. If you are having difficulty in sleeping, hindi ka makatulog, or the opposite, parang palagi kang inaantok, gusto mong palagi matulog, that's a sign of stress. Okay? Another thing is yung energy level changes. If you're always feeling tired, madaling mapagod, or restless, hindi mapakali, okay, then that's another sign of stress. Also, appetite changes. Yung parang walang ganang kumain, or yung parang kain ng kain, unlike your usual appetite patterns, that can be another sign. And then there's the low self-esteem, yung mga small worries, na dati naman napapabayaan or pwedeng itabi, ngayon parang pinapalaki, and then dun nakafocus. Difficulty in focusing, concentration, or in making decisions, medyo hirap gumawa ng decisions. And then sometimes, nandun yung loss of interest na for other things na dati nagpapasaya naman, di ba? And the depressed mood, anxious mood, or even thoughts of death or suicide. Yeah. So these are some signs and symptoms na if you experience in yourself, then that's a red flag. That means that, the body and your mind and your emotions are telling you to get help na.
We probably heard about EQ, or Emotional Intelligence. Nakakatulong kaya ang EQ sa pag-manage ng ating stress?
EQ refers to managing stress by managing the emotions. Yeah. Now, when we talk about emotional management, it's like stress rin. May mga taong kulang ang emotions, tuloy kulang rin yung motivation. May mga tao namang sobra ang emotions, tuloy masyadong intense, na-overwhelm sila sa nararamdaman nila, hindi na sila makakonsentrate sa trabaho. EQ is important to help employers and employees deal with their problems. When faced with stress kasi, it's natural that we experience mga emotions. Yung mga emotions na yun will be the basic ones, anger, sadness, fear, loneliness, etc. And if employers or employees are not able to manage it, then dun magkakaproblema. EQ refers to the ability for the person to deal well with these emotions para hindi siya mag-intrude or maka-disturb or maka-interfere sa mga ginagawang trabaho.
Ayan, so with that, we can say that EQ can really help manage stress by managing the emotions. Pero hindi ba may coping mechanism naman talaga ang bawat tao? How come may ibang tao madali silang makakope up with stress, while others really need the help of other people?
Ang mga tao iba-ibang coping mechanisms, iba-ibang kapasidad to deal with stress. It could be because of genetics. You know, if we have parents na magaling mag-handle naturally, then baka yung genes nila mapunta sa atin. Whereas there are some people naman na very mababa ang tolerance for stress. Eh kung yun ang genes na napunta sa atin, mababa rin yung tolerance natin. So that's one, genetics. Another thing is yung learned coping mechanisms natin. Kung maganda yung pagturo sa atin ng mga coping skills sa school, 'di ba, ng mga parents natin, then we're able to cope better. So it's a combination of genetics at saka learned behavior.
May dagdag pa na advice si Dr. Randy sa employees or sa working class.
It's important for the employee to be aware, to be sensitive to what the body feels. Okay? Kasi syempre yung body natin hindi wala namang boses, hindi makapagsalita, pero it communicates to us in certain ways. Like for example, pain. Okay? When we feel pain in our body, it's a sign na baka nagbe-breakdown na siya. Okay? Baka palapit na sa burnout. You know? So, what are some physical signs that the body is breaking or burning out? Nandun yung headaches, yung mga migraine. So, kung napapadalas yung mga migraine ninyo, then probably it's a sign that there's too much stress. Body aches, body pains, mga muscular pains, hyperacidity, di ba? Maraming mga pumupunta sa akin na may mga GERD, yung gastric reflux, esophageal reflux, they feel nauseous, yung heartburn, So these are all signs. Even allergies, asthma, yung paglagas ng buhok can be another sign of stress. Even skin problems. Yeah, like for example, acne, dry skin, of course, additional wrinkles, dahil kapag palagi nakakunot, then it affects your facial contour. And of course, part of the body is, yung sexual functioning natin, and also reproductive functions. Meaning, there are some people who want to bear children, pero dahil sa stress, the body is preventing. You know what? Kasi the body is also wise. May tinatawag tayong body wisdom eh. If the body is too tired, then it knows that it's not the best time to have a baby. So, when employees want to have babies, of course, they have to relax. Remember, being pregnant is also a stress eh. So, the body tells you, oh, may stress ka na nga, tapos you'll add pa stress by having a baby. So, I won't permit you to have a baby. Diba? So, for those who want to have babies, syempre they have to relax. And that's also true for the males. Diba? Probably psychologically, they also know that if they have a baby, then it will be added burden on him and on the partner. Tuloy, yung body will cooperate with that para hindi madagdagan yung stress.